I interviewed Mary today and I loved her. Oh my God, she was so awesome. Oh, that's what we get from the clients sometimes. You know, Riderflex is a recruiting firm, right? So we're always presenting job candidates. Sometimes the client will call us and they'll say, oh my God, I interviewed Johnny. I loved him. Yeah, he's awesome. And then I'll say, well, that's great. Why was he awesome? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I loved him. He was great. I know he's not a perfect fit on paper, but man, I think he's a culture fit here. Now, at the same time, we also get clients that call, or I'll call them and say, hey, how was that interview with Mary today? Well, you know, I just didn't really like her that much. You know, she's just not a fit here. How come? The client's like, well, you know, she's missing this, or she's missing that, or she talked too much, or she didn't talk enough, or she's too loud, or she's too quiet, or she was wearing blue, or she was wearing green. Oh, you know, I'm married to my second wife, Kim, right now. We've been together for 20 something years, but I was married before. And I had this little period where I was single. I don't know, it was 4 or 5 years or so. I was single and I was dating around, and I had these prerequisites, right? I had this list that my new wife had to meet certain requirements. I had a job spec. And so I would date people and I would kind of check off the list, you know. I'd be like, okay, well, she's got this, she's got that, she don't have this, she don't have this, that, this, or, you know, kind of question them or whatever. Now, keep in mind, this was years and years ago, kind of before the dating apps, right? Anyway, I had these prerequisites. Well, here's what I found out pretty quickly. My checklist didn't matter. I had little things like, okay, she needed to make over 150 grand a year, no kids, college degree, come from a family that had money, be a certain size. You know, I can't remember what measurements I had in there, but a certain size measurements. I had all this stuff, right? None of that mattered, because when I did meet Kim on the dance floor in Austin, Texas, there was an immediate chemical reaction, right? There's this chemistry that happens between people. Isn't that amazing, right? When you meet somebody, you're immediately sizing them up, aren't you? Whether it's a coffee meeting, a business meeting, a date, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. When you meet somebody, you are immediately thinking to yourself, yeah, I don't like him. or, wow, she's really cool. I like her. Sometimes you don't even know why, right? You really just don't even know why. People just like each other or they don't. There's a chemistry or there's not. There's a good vibe or there isn't. What's my point of this ranting episode? If you're a hiring manager, stop getting caught up in the specific requirements and the perfect resume and the perfect LinkedIn profile, right? You're eliminating people too quickly just because of what's on paper. The reality is, when you get in front of them and you talk to them, then you're going to know, right? Then you're going to know, especially if you're visiting with them in person a couple of times. You're going to know whether or not you want to work with that person. Do they fit your style, personality, culture? Do you guys jive? Does the vibe fit? Are you going to enjoy working with the person? Now, some of you would say none of that matters, and all that matters is the tactical skill set, and whether or not you get along with them or you like them doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. People quit jobs because of people. Not every time, but most of the time, people leave because of people or the atmosphere or the culture or the environment, or they don't like their boss. Bosses fire people because they don't like the person. They come up with excuses on all the different performances and all the things they're doing wrong, when really the situation is they just don't like them. Right? Until we're all robots, right? Until robots are doing all the work, until that day happens, As long as human beings are working together, the chemistry and the vibe matters. I don't care what you're not going to convince me otherwise. I know that there's all these algorithms and software, and everybody's like, well, the software should just match the skill set on the resume. And then that's going to decide who's going to be best there. Okay. That's bullshit. Okay. What matters is whether or not people get along and can work together and play nice in the sandbox. It goes all the way back to kindergarten, right? Like, can you play in the sandbox with Mary? And do you like playing in the sandbox with Mary or not? Right. And if you don't, guess what? You go over and play with Johnny over the swing set because you just like it over there better. It's the same way now. Dating's the same way. They got all these apps, right? They got all these dating apps. So we're going to match you up with the perfect person. I'm going to use eHarmony and I'm going to put all these checklists in there. I like action movies. And if she likes action movies, then, ooh, man, it's going to be a great match. Until you get in front of her or him in Starbucks, face to face, visiting, you're not going to know whether or not there's a chemistry and whether or not there's a vibe. You're just not going to know. And when you do get to Starbucks, then you're going to be like, I think I like her. She's doing something for me. That's how it works, man. We're human beings. So what was my point? Oh yeah, I was rambling. My point is, stop getting so caught up in the 100% match on paper. Especially in this market where candidates can basically have whatever job they want, if you get a decent match in front of you, when I say decent match, let's say you have a job opening and you're a hiring manager, you got certain requirements and experiences that you have on your job spec. If you get like an 80% match on paper, an 80% match of, you look at their resume and you're like, this person's missing this or that, but it's not a 100% match, but it's 80% match. You should probably talk to them, because once they get in front of you, then you're going to know. Then you're going to know whether or not that person can fit the company and your style and your team. Okay. And then you can train them up on the other 20%, right? Bring them along on a couple of things that they're missing. Invest some time in them. They'll probably be a longer employee anyway. All right. And last but not least, just so you know, I was dancing with my wife on the dance floor, the first time I met her, right? And so I started asking her these questions. The very first dance, we were at a dance hall, a honky tonk down in Austin. So I'm dancing with her and I'm like, so you married? She goes, no, I'm not married. I said, got any kids? She goes, yeah, I got 2 kids. I'm like, okay, strike one. You got 2 kids. I was like, what do you do for a living? She's like, well, I'm a CNA. I'm like, what is that? She's like, a certified nurse's aide. I'm like, okay, strike 2. You don't make any money. All right. I was like, where'd you go to school? She goes, well, I didn't go to college. I'm like, oh, good. All right. Strike 3. Hey, what the hell am I doing here? I got to get off the dance floor like right now. But there was a chemistry. I liked her. Guess what? She's the best wife on the planet for me. She's so awesome. We get along so well. I don't care about that other stuff. By the way, she was poor as shit too. And so was I. So like I said, it all went together. But it's a wonderful relationship because the chemistry was right and we love being around each other. And I think that's what matters when you're interviewing people. Okay. See if there's a vibe there. Stop getting caught up in the perfect resume on paper. It's not about that unless we all turn into robots. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day.